minutes. Oh, and it's on my phone. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Let us know when you arrive. We're going to have a live Q&A today, all about the new stamp room. So as you arrive, please leave a comment and let us know that you're with us. And Mary Davis is the designer that you get to meet today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. There's usually a little bit of a delay, so we'll probably see some comments in just a few minutes. Would you like some water?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. All right. So we are, there we go. Good morning, Margaret. How are you? I feel like I'm cutting you off, Mary. So, nope, gotta go this way. Always have to do the back. Okay. All right. How's that? Are we both in here? Mm-hmm. All right. Good morning, Margaret. Margaret attended the retreat this weekend. We had 25 ladies in attendance.
Very nice.
And needless to say, I think we're all exhausted, but our hearts are full because it was just an amazing group of women that we got to have fellowship with and just meet new friends and craft together. So I'll make just a few more minutes for a couple comments and then we'll get started. Okay. So some of you might even have a question right off the bat. So if you can think of something that you'd like to ask, go ahead and put it in the comments now and we will promise to get to it. I'm glad you had a good time, Margaret, at the retreat. Hi, Diane. Good morning. All right. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started because the nice thing about a video is everybody can hit replay and watch it again later. So anyway, we're delighted to be with you. If you are brand new to my Facebook page, my name is Tammy Shaia and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And Mary Davis is joining me and she is a designer for Closet Factory. And so we thought we'd have a little Q&A. If you have any questions, let us know. We're going to talk to you about the process of going through this whole thing. And oh, that's such a great question, Diane. How do you start the process? I have one thing I need to do, ladies. I forgot to shut the door to the stamp room. My grandsons are visiting today. And so let me just close their door so we don't have any extra noise. All right. Okay, for me, for starting the design is, and this is with any size craft room, my very first craft room was a very tiny bedroom. And I mean, I had it full. I could hardly walk around the room, but I had a working island and it was just room enough for me in there, but it worked. And I think the reason it worked was when you're starting this process of organizing, and by the way, it doesn't have to be a new house. It doesn't have to be a new addition. It can be what you already have in your home, no matter the size. But the best thing to do is write down everything that needs a home or that needs space. So I started with, well, my ink pads need a home, and the paper, and my blending brushes, and my markers. And I made a huge, long list of everything that needed its own space. And then from there, I did some research and looking around on how to get it all organized. So what would you say is the first thing to do to get started?
So I agree that knowing what you need to store is probably one of the most important things, and it's going to help make your space the most functional for you and what you need. As a professional organizer, also that really speaks to my organizing part. Like know what you got, know what you have, and know what you need space for. And then I'll just talk a little bit about the process on the Closet Factory side. We always start with a consultation with a client in home, taking measurements, obviously, talking with the client in depth about their needs, for instance, if we're doing a closet with clothing in it, we would take an inventory of the clothes. Tammy made my job really, really easy because she knew exactly what she had to store and what she wanted. So you made it easy for sure, for sure.
So when I met Mary, I knew that she was a professional organizer, okay? I love to organize things. So, you know, that was part of the Stampin' Up process as well with all my Stampin' Up supplies, was just how am I going to organize them? So when I met Mary, I asked her, I'm like, how do you know, like, how to organize? Like, what is the right way or the professional way of doing it? Because I certainly have no training in organizing. And Mary, you said, and I still think about this, you said, whatever works for you, that is the best way to organize it. And so when you said that to me, I thought, you know what? Maybe I could share with all of my followers how I organize my things. And there's certainly many other demonstrators out there that organize things very differently than me, and it works for them. So in the next week, it might be even within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be with you every day showing you how I label things and organize them, put them away, and my whole thought process in doing it.
Yeah. So. I have seen other parts of your house that you have already organized, and she gives me a run for my money. She does a great job, but she's right. If it doesn't, there's no one size fits all solution. Right. It has to make sense for the way our brains work.
Right.
So.
Right. All right, we had a couple of other questions. All right, let's see. Okay, so Susan, you have a great question. Mary, I don't know why, but I just feel like I keep, there we go. I'm much happier with that. You were hardly in the video. Y'all can see how professional this is. So Susan, you have an awesome question. You have the IKEA cubicles, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I had them in my very first stamp room, and it's very similar. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Mary, but they're like 4 cubicles and then 4 down, and you can get different numbers. The Calyx. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So that's how I started, Susan, with the Calyx shelving and Stampin' Storage products. And as many of you know, I'm an affiliate with Stampin' Storage, and I truly believe in their products. They are extremely sturdy, and they have helped me so much in organizing my paper, my ink pads, my markers, what else? Designer paper, Stampin' Blends. So I highly recommend that. And after our Q&A today, I will leave you all some links where you can go and look at the Stampin' Storage products that I have. So great question. Can you think of anything, Mary, that you want to add? I'm going to go back and look through some more comments.
No, I mean, those shelving, it's a reason those have been around for so long and are so popular because they work well, right?
Yeah.
They work well. So.
Yes, definitely.
If you can't customize everything, which we've done here, they're a good solution. Yeah.
Now with this house, you know, I knew I was moving. I knew I wanted a stamp room. And I knew I needed a paper wall. I knew I needed an area for die cutting. And I knew I needed an area for cutting paper, for stamping. And I also needed an area where I could plug in all my electronics and charge them. I've got label machines, a printer, what else? iPad, all the stuff that needs to get charged in order for everything to work. And so I did need an area for that. And I do remember this, in the closet is where we charge everything. And I remember needing a place for my printer. And you and I were trying to decide how to do it and where to put it. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what, Mary, I'm just not going to worry about it. I'll just put it on a stand in the room, whatever. But Mary came up with a great idea, and that was to put the printer on this pull-out shelf so I can pull it out and do my printing. And when I'm not using it, I can just, put it back in its place. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I actually have that in my office. It's one of my favorite things because it doesn't take up the countertop space.
Yes, and because Mary had one in her office, I could actually see you know, how she stored her printer. And so that helped me out because I know in doing this room, I'm such a visual person, and you can tell me 100 times how to do it or what it's going to look like, but it's just so much better when I can see it. Yeah. I'm going to look back through the comments. Okay, I'll go back to the beginning and see. I don't want to leave any comments out. Okay, so Diane had asked about the starting process, and that is to start with your list. I would definitely recommend having all your paper in one area, have all your ink pads, markers in one area, have a cutting area. It doesn't have to be huge, okay? And then have a die cutting area. And the die cutting and paper cutting can be on the same counter. Doesn't have to be separate. I do recommend drawers because it's nice to have those to put things in. So, all right, let's see what else we've got. All right, so Susan says, hi, Mary. We don't have Closet Factory near. Who would you recommend instead?
Susan, if you can put in the chat where you are, I'd be curious to know because there are Closet Factories everywhere.
I know, and Susan is in Georgia. I do know that. Okay. Susan was supposed to come up for the retreat, but couldn't make it at the last minute. So hopefully next year she'll be at retreat. But yeah, she's in Georgia. I'm sure here we go. It'll pop up in a second. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me go through some more. All right. I know organizing is fun, Kisha. That's part of the process, I think. So, all right. Okay, so there's Susan's comment there. Let's see.
Oh, I like the rolling carts.
I'm not familiar with the rolling cart for IKEA, Susan.
So I think I'm familiar with the ones from like the Container Store, but I'm pretty sure they're all similar. But they offer some good solutions because they're mobile. So if you don't have a lot of space, it's something you can roll away and then pull out when you need it. And some of them have accessories like pen cups you can hang on the side or lids that you can put on top so that you have another surface. So they're really versatile and help when you're short on space.
Okay, that's great. It sounds like you could put a printer on it, maybe.
Does it have a top?
Printer. A small printer, yeah. And not everyone needs a printer in their stamp room either. It's just that I've always had one, and it's big, and it needs a space. All right, let's see what else we've got. Oh, so Susan is near Savannah.
Oh, I'm headed to Savannah tomorrow.
What? You're kidding? No. Oh my gosh.
So I will investigate where if there's I'm pretty sure there is a Closet Factory that serves Savannah. But if there isn't, when you work with a closet company, make sure they're custom. Some will say they're custom, but they're really not custom. We can cut any size, fit any space, work around any obstruction. We don't keep an inventory of things. All of this material was ordered just for your job and cut just for your job. So Susan, I do think there is a Closet Factory that serves Savannah though.
And I do have Susan's contact information,
okay,
so I can get that to her.
Perfect.
You know, so many people asked me, did you bring your custom built cabinets and shelving from your other home, from your other stamp room? And I did not. First of all, this room is a completely different shape.
It is.
And anything that I would have brought would not have fit. It would have probably wasted my space, I would think. It would not be efficient.
Right.
You know, because it's not the right size.
It wouldn't be built to the space.
Exactly. It would, you know, it would be too small for a wall or something like that. So yeah, definitely. All right, let's see what else. Oh, Mary Jo had one and my finger just kind of skipped over it. And if you all want, maybe we'll do a sneak peek of the boys when we're done, if you want to see the babies. All right, let's see. Here we go. Mary Jo, is there any issue with papers fading from lighting? I don't go through paper as quickly as Tammy may, and I'm curious if this is ever an issue. So with me, Mary Jo, I have noticed in my old stamp room, I can't tell you about the new one because I'm just putting the paper in now. But in the old stamp room, I only had one window in there, and I did have a light over the paper. And on the very end of the cardstock, and not every cardstock, but on the very end, let's see if I can find a full package. And I mean like this much, I could tell the light had gotten to it because this was faded right here. Now, I don't know if that was because of the natural light or because of the LED light that I had above it. I had track lighting in that room. But you know, I'm cutting so much and I need smaller pieces than card base sometimes. So it never really was an issue, not really a waste because it was a small amount, but that is a great question. All right, this thing can be sensitive, so. Oh, okay, Diane, is there a minimum job size? My room is very small. Do you work with the cubes you may already have?
So there is no minimum job size. I have done reach-in closets. I have done whole rooms. So no, there's no minimum job size. We can work with what you already have. The difficulty in that comes in the customization. It makes it a little harder to make sure the space is fully functional for you. But if that's something that's important to you, we can absolutely work with what you have.
And Diane, we were not friends when I lived in Richmond before. So in my first stamp room, it was a tiny little bedroom. And I was able to work with that. I didn't have anything custom at that point. So when I did make that move to my other house that I just left, anyway, that's when I knew I needed some custom stuff. So it does, honestly, I think we get hung up on the fact that to have a stamp room, it needs to be a certain size, okay? Because we've seen some stamp rooms and they're huge, right? But in all honesty, when it comes down to it, we're all alike. When I'm creating a project, ladies, I'm working on about 12 inches of space. That's it. I really, you know, I'll have everything just crowded around me and I've got like 12 inches of space that I'm stamping this card on. So, all right. So let's scroll through that one. All right.
An hour from there. Okay.
Okay. So Susan's about an hour from
Savannah.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll figure it out.
All right. Okay, so Kisha says I'm late, so it may have been asked, but what's your favorite part or section so far? Oh my gosh, that's a great question,
good
Kisha.
question.
Well, right now, because Kisha, we have not unpacked, okay? So we're going to start unpacking tomorrow together, okay? But I have a lot of favorite parts. I love the paper wall. That's always my favorite because of the color. So when we created this room, I knew that when I did my Facebook Lives that I wanted to stand here at my island and have color behind me. So it's really important to have that paper wall. Other favorite parts, I love my printer shelf because my printer's totally out of the way now. And by the way, that's a small closet. And now I'm going to have a laptop charging in there, an iPad, 2 label machines, and a printer. Plus, we're gonna fill it up with some containers this week. Another favorite part is my built-in trash can. And it's a slot, and I'm sure you saw it last week, but it's an 8.5-inch slot. I never know where the camera is. It's an 8.5-inch slot by 1 inch. And I cannot wait to put paper in it. So under that slot is a cabinet, and we put a little tray, so that scrap paper is gonna fall on that tray, but I'm super excited about that. Do you have a favorite part?
I don't know. This is so pretty.
Yeah,
and like
I love
this,
the color.
Again, this like just makes my organizing heart very happy. Very happy. And I've already said that I have the printer shelf, and it's so efficient. It's just so nice to get that counter space back.
So when I met Mary, I asked her, have you ever done a craft room? And you had done a sewing room, right?
Yes.
With some stamping supplies?
Yeah, she actually did a lot of different crafting type stuff. We had a sewing section, a knitting section, a quilting section, a paper section.
Wow.
She had quilting machines, sewing machines. We incorporated a wrapping station for wrapping paper in there. So
And
you
you did a specialized a little thing for her thread,
I
right?
did. Yep, I
yeah,
did.
that you had come up with, which I thought was pretty ingenious.
So I put in a drawer pegboard from Home Depot and dowels through the holes spaced out so the spools of thread would fit on the dowel. And they're not sliding around the drawer.
Right. And then Mary also shared with the pegboard at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, they can cut it for you. They can cut it. I never knew that.
Because that wasn't part of Closet Factory's installation. We did do Closet Factory in that space, but then I went back and organized it. So I did that for my organizing side of things. And Home Depot cut it. I just took the measurements. They cut it. I put some pads on the bottom so it wasn't sitting flush with the bottom of the drawer.
Right. All right. Okay, let's see here. Deborah, newsflash, buy Tammy's old home and your crafter's ready to be loaded. Absolutely, Deborah. And Deborah, I was so hoping when we sold that house, I was so hoping a stamper was going to move in there. I really wanted a stamper in that house. Oh, me. Okay, so Susan says that happens with my paper as well, and I got the doors from IKEA, and it was much better. We're talking about the fading there, so that's good. All right. And let's see. Oh, yes, and my island is 122 inches long, girls. So that's probably another favorite because this is the largest table that I've ever had. By the way, I had a table in the other stamp room. I held some classes there, but I found with the table that I really cluttered it up. Like anything I brought into the room would just sit there and it would just stay there. And so I just feel like with the island, I'm gonna be better about that because I can use this to line up all my kits and cut. And all my share boxes, I can line up and put all the product in. By the way, share boxes are coming up. Details this week. All right. Oh, yes, the punch drawer. That's always a favorite. I'm anxious to get my punches
I know, I'm excited
in the punch
to
drawer.
see that.
I don't know what to do first. I think the first thing I'm going to do with the unpacking is get out all the boxes in one area because they're all labeled. And I think that is going to help me unpack a little bit better. Because I'll have everything out at the same time. I won't have to go back and readjust because something doesn't fit.
And I would say put the things that you have specific spaces for, like the punch drawers and the little shelves over there first.
Do that
get
first.
That stuff out of the way because you already know where it's going.
That's an excellent idea. I love that idea. Yeah, built-in garbage cans are the best, or trash cans, I guess. Susan, can I reuse the IKEA shelves along with custom?
Again, yes. I have worked around dressers and closets. We will work around anything. It's just determining if that's the best use of the space.
That's a great...
Ultimately up to you, of course.
Right. That's an excellent question, Susan, to do both. And I even had a little bit of that in my last stamp room because my printer was on a IKEA table. Yeah. So
I mean, we could have technically built these paper shelves, but you already have all of these.
That's right.
So.
Yeah. Can y'all believe that? You could actually have these custom built as well. Yeah. So anything you can dream up, I think they can create.
More or less, yes. I mean, the dividers would have been a little thicker, but in the other craft room I did paper.
Okay, you did the paper shelves.
Yep.
Okay.
Not this many.
Right.
But I did do paper shelves.
Yeah, I got a little bit of paper.
That's it. It's beautiful.
Wait till we get the designer paper in.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
So anyway, great questions. Any other questions? This has been so fun. For the rest of the week, let me tell you what's going on. I think I'm going to do 3 p.m. Eastern time every day this week. So starting tomorrow, 3 p.m., we will start organizing the room. I will go over how I label everything. I'm not sure why this is doing this. Continue recording, recover broadcast. Not sure why that came up. So starting tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we'll go over, like you suggested, we'll do the basic things first because we know where they go. And I'll show you how I label them, show you my machines and all that kind of stuff. All right. Any other questions? Have we kept you long enough? All right. I could check on the grandsons, but they might be having their snack time. But I'll check on them. Mary, you talk.
Okay.
Tell them more about Closet Factory, about your job.
I will. So we talked a little bit about the process earlier. So after we come in and take measurements and talk to the client about their needs and kind of get an inventory, I will do a design, which Tammy will have to figure out how to switch it over, but you'll get a rendering on paper, which I know this is not going very well. Then we make changes until it's right for you. We want things to be, it's custom, so we want to make sure it's 100% what you want. Then once we have finalized drawings, we've chosen finishes, door hardware, which Tammy actually already had her own door hardware and drawer hardware for this room that we installed for her. After we choose all of those things, we'll get the order in, and then it does take usually anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks roughly to install, because we're just ordering the product. And hello, you'll have to see this cutie. So then we would get the order and get you on the calendar and get your place built out. So you're perfect timing, really.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, we got
Hi.
one. The other one's coming. Every once in a while, they're here. When the ladies are here, the ladies ask every week, "Can you please show us pictures of the babies?"
Oh, now they get to see actual babies. Hi.
Good morning. This is Mr. Miles, and he's gonna spend the day with us.
Hi.
Did you see that question? How much is a consultation fee? Did you answer that one?
No fee for the consultation.
Yeah,
Consultations are free. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Look
Can
at
you
that
say
smile.
hi to the ladies? Say hi. Say, I can't wait to
Does
get
that
in
mean
my
I get this?
grandmother's room and tear up all the paper.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, there you are. Good morning, Ferris.
She's like, I don't know you.
I know. Say, I'm not sure. Say, I'm not sure. Hi. Hi, Pumpkin.
Oh, Grandma, come on.
Aren't they sweet?
They are
So,
sweet, so
we've got
cute.
a rainy day today in Virginia, and my husband and I are going to play and have fun with these little guys. This one wants to get down. I think he wants to grab the lights. You all done? Are you all done? Everyone is saying hello to you, Miles. All right, ladies, keep your questions coming. You can still ask more questions for Mary. I will relay that to her. Okay.
Yeah.
So any questions, Mary's happy to answer those. I am as well, and we're ready to go. Have a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care.